You would ban all Muslims?
I would temporarily halt Muslim immigration to this country until we get a grip of the problem.
That is not an invasion. Of course it's an invasion.
Of course
40,000 illegal immigrants.
Best way to stop refugees from coming here?
Stopping bombing them to shit. Stopping going there and stealing their natural resources. They don't want to leave. You think they want to come to Little Britain and have fish and chips? Gammon and eggs? Almost certainly not, because they don't eat gammon.
Muslim Inggris masih diliputi rasa ketakutan pasca kerusuhan anti-imigran beberapa waktu lalu. Hal ini dirasakan oleh jemaah dan imam masjid di Liverpool.
I'm a Scouser, born and bred in the city of Liverpool. I've always loved Liverpool. I've classed Liverpool to be my home city, my place and where I was raised, where I was born, where I can flourish and where I can succeed in. But seeing the events that have just taken place in the city of Liverpool, and not just the city of Liverpool but in the UK as a whole, it's really scary seeing the people rioting, looting the shops.
We say enough is enough! We say stop the boats! We say
Kerusuhan ini dipicu oleh kesalahpahaman masyarakat Inggris terhadap para imigran yang masuk ke negara tersebut melalui perahu-perahu kecil. Warga Inggris menganggap negaranya sedang diinvasi oleh imigran ilegal. Padahal, para imigran tersebut memiliki hak untuk memasuki Eropa berdasarkan undang-undang yang berlaku di sana.
That is not an invasion. Of course it's an invasion. 40,000 illegal immigrants. And
they're not illegal immigrants. They come here claiming asylum.
Yes, so what's the matter with France?
Under the Refugee Convention, which the UK has signed up to, they are allowed to claim asylum in any country that is a signatory of that convention, of which we are one.
Well, it's on the news. They come here and they destroy their documents. That's why it's taken 3 years.
No, it's not. It's not why it's taken 3 years. There are people with all the documentation that they need who are still taking 3 years to have their claims processed because the Home Office cannot cope. And before you tell me that they cannot cope with the numbers, there are fewer people claiming asylum by about 30,000 than there were in 2004.
Ben, you cannot get 2 pints in a pint pot. We are an island.
Yeah.
We can't afford to keep taking these people into this country.
The 6th biggest country, richest country in the world, James.
So what? But it's one of the smallest countries in the world.
What proportion of UK land do you think is built on?
I have no idea.
1%.
But listen, we
1%.
cannot. There's going to be problems. We are sleepwalking into disaster.
Yeah, we are, and that is the rise of the far right that we are sleepwalking into. That is the disaster.
It's the fact that It's the fact that the illegal immigrants are coming to this country every day. When do we say, Ben? When do you say, Ben? Enough's enough. When there's 100,000 a year, 200,000 a year. You tell me.
James, I've already said that there is a massive problem when it comes to migration. A massive problem with enforcing our border security and a massive problem with dealing with applications. Why do you think that that is the fault of the people who are coming here using their legal right to claim asylum in the UK rather than the people in power that have presided over this mess? I'll ask you a very simple question. They're coming here legally to claim asylum in this country. We forced them to get here in order to claim asylum. They have a legal right to do so. Why is it their fault that it's taking so long to do so?
Apakah fenomena pengungsi saat ini adalah hukum karma bagi Inggris yang telah menginvasi 1/4 penduduk bumi pada ratusan tahun yang lalu? Ternyata genderang ketakutan Inggris akan fenomena imigrasi ini sudah ditabuh 7 tahun yang lalu.
You would ban all Muslims?
I would temporarily halt Muslim immigration to this country until we get a grip of the problem. I differentiate Muslims from Islam.
Differentiate Muslims.
Muslims are people. Islam is an idea.
Islam is a faith.
No, it's an idea.
It's a faith.
It's an idea that you can change your mind.
No, it's a faith. Like Christianity.
Like Scientology.
Like all faiths.
Like
it's a religion, it's a faith.
Like Scientology.
If you're saying that the problem is with Islam, are you accepting that you're Islamophobic?
Because there are 100 verses in this.
Yes or no? Okay. Are you Islamophobic?
There's no such word as Islamophobia. There's no such word as Islamophobia. Phobia is an irrational fear. It's not irrational to fear these things. Phobia is an irrational fear. It's not irrational to fear these things.
Yan, Anda tidak salah dengar. Mungkin seperti inilah logika penghujat Islam. Terlihat jelas ucapannya saling kontradiksi. Jika ia berkata, tidak masuk akal untuk takut pada Islam, lalu kenapa ia begitu khawatir akan perkembangan Islam yang terus meluas di Eropa? Apakah pemirsa bisa bantu menjawab hal ini? Silahkan tulis di komentar.
Now, if I hold this book up and say, there will never be peace on this earth so long as we have this book, it's a violent and cursed book. That's
Can I tell you who said that?
Can I tell you who said that?
You put the
Sir William Gladstone
you
said
wouldn't
that.
do that with
Sir William Gladstone
Would you do that with
said
the Bible? Show some respect.
Show some respect.
Show some respect.
Have you read this book?
For people.
Have you read this book?
There are over a billion people.
There are 100 verses in.
Ketika kebencian terhadap Al-Quran ditunjukkan oleh Tommy Robinson sang anti-Islam, terlihat sang pembawa acara begitu menghormati Al-Quran, dia berusaha keras agar tamunya juga untuk menghargai Al-Quran. Mungkin inilah kenapa Al-Quran melarang Muslim membalas ujaran kebencian dengan hal yang serupa. Karena justru ujaran kebencian seperti itu, Allah hadirkan orang-orang yang lebih baik, yang membela Islam, dari kalangan mereka juga. Seperti wanita Inggris yang cerdas ini.
If you're a British person and you don't want refugees coming to your country, I have some tips for you. The best way to stop refugees from coming here is to write to your government, hold them accountable, and ask them to stop creating wars in places. Sebagaimana kita tahu, sejak tahun 2003 hingga 2011 Amerika bersama Inggris dan sekutunya menciptakan malapetaka di Timur Tengah dengan alasan perang melawan teror. Sejak itu, wilayah Timur Tengah yang merupakan pusat populasi Islam menjadi wilayah yang tidak aman. Lebih dari 400.000 penduduk Muslim kehilangan nyawa dan sisanya bermigrasi ke negara-negara Eropa yang lebih aman.
That refugees have no other option but to come here. Rioting on the streets, breaking people's houses, dragging people out of their cars, assaulting them is not going to stop immigration. What is going to stop immigration is keeping the places where those refugees are from, keeping those places safe. Stopping bombing them to shit. Stopping going there and stealing their natural resources and constructing any bullshit reason war that we need in order to do that. If we stay out of other people's countries, they will stay out of ours. They don't want to leave their homelands. Have you been to the Middle East? I've lived in the Middle East. I have seen with my own eyes the beauty of these places, the rich culture, the food. They don't want to leave. You think they want to come to Little Britain and have fish and chips? Gammon and eggs? Almost certainly not, because they don't eat gammon. And they certainly don't want you, gammon, ruining their experience here. These people taking to the streets, rioting, being violent, I'd like to see them last 1 second in the shit show that we have created in other countries. Us and the US and Israel, to be clear. Yeah. How many of you rioters, how many of you have been on Palestinian protests? How many of you stood up for Iraq when we were unlawfully there? Or Afghanistan? And it's funny, isn't it, how when Russia invaded Ukraine, we were all open to the Ukrainians coming here, weren't we? I never saw any riots about that. I actually saw a lot of Ukrainian flags. I saw a lot of people opening up their homes to Ukrainians, as they should, which is lovely, it's noble. But it's just interesting, isn't it, that if you have a little bit more melanin in your skin, the British, they're not so friendly. Be better, do better, do your research, use your brain. We have some of the best education in the world here in Britain. You wouldn't think it. You certainly wouldn't think it. Maybe if we spend less time learning about the Tudors or, you know, the obsession of the World Wars. I think we should learn about it, don't get me wrong, but we all know so much about World War I and World War II and how Great Britain won and oh, ho, ho. But we don't know an awful lot about the wars that we created. I think that's absurd.